Hello English 11 students and welcome to the video for Quarter 3, Week 2, Day 2. This video is designed for those students who are absent from our live Zoom class. As a reminder, everything you say, do, or type is recorded, so please remember to keep it school appropriate. As always, there's no saving, downloading, or taking pictures of our class ever. Today's agenda is we're going to work on the excerpt. We're going to do 3 excerpts over the course of this Quarter 3. The first one that we're working with comes from a book called American Chica. So I'm going to talk about the format of the assignment, the format of the questions, and then resources that help you answer those questions. As a reminder, if you did not turn in the Week 2 notebook time assignment from from earlier this week, please make sure that you do so as soon as possible. All right, so from the English 11 homepage, please click on this week's dates, then click on excerpt 1 of 3, American Chica. Once you click on that, you'll notice that it looks like this. Right? Those of you who have had this class before know how this looks, and this will be very familiar to you, but just kind of reiterating, right? On the left-hand side, you have the excerpt. If you didn't want to read this yourself, if you wanted the computer to read it to you, you could always use that Google Read and Write app, which is that purple puzzle piece that's in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. If you don't have that app and need help putting that on your computer or Chromebook, just let me or Miss Deal know and we'll be happy to set that up for you. You'll notice that the questions are on the right-hand side, right? And there's a spot or space for you to write your answers underneath each question to kind of keep it easier for you. I've also included links for some helpful samples and sentence stems to make this easier. I also color code things. So for example, number 1, it says, consider how the narrator describes herself in the excerpt in bold red, right? And so every time the narrator is describing herself, I put it in bold red for you to look at. That makes looking for your answers a little bit faster. All right, let's take a look at the questions you're working with for this excerpt before we begin reading. Question number 1, consider how the narrator describes herself in the excerpt in bold red. List 1 adjective you would use to describe her. Which quote would you use to support your answer? Your quote should follow the quote integration format that we discussed last semester. Right? If you click on, the Answering Questions Help tab, it'll take you to the bottom of the document where it shows you that I've given you some sentence stems. So for example, for that number 1, you might say, 1 adjective I would use to describe the narrator is, and then, delete this blank and add in your answer, right? Because the text says, quote, and then copy and paste the quote from the text, and then insert the citation, right? Which in this case, you would use the author's last name, which is Arana, A-R-A-N-A, and then that would be your citation. Question number 2, explain why the narrator seems so fixated on her memories of her parents entering their courtyard smiling and laughing. Again, if you click on that help button, go down to the bottom, right? Your sentence stem would be, the narrator seems so fixated on her memories of her parents because, right? Delete the 3 dots and then add in the rest of your answer. Okay, and you can follow that same format. If you get completely stuck, just use the sentence starter that I gave you at the bottom of the document, right? Fill it out there and then copy and paste if you need to. Question number 3. The narrator states, something like earthquakes would come, geologic upheavals when the foundations that underlay their union would rattle with dislocation and longing. Arana. Explain her use of simile here. What 2 things are being compared? How are those 2 things similar in some way? Okay, and again, you can use the student samples at the bottom. When it comes to formatting your quotes, right, you want to use your quote as part of your sentence, and there's 2 ways to do that. We covered that last semester. If you need a review, if you click on the student sample, it'll open this other document in a smaller window. And you can just look at it, right? I think a powerful sentence is, in this excerpt, is when it says, quote, blah, 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 right? You can kind of just follow the examples here if you get lost. Question 4. The narrator believes that there is a fundamental rift between North and South America, a flaw so deep it is tectonic. The plates don't fit. The earth is loose. A fault runs through. Earthquakes happen. Walls are likely to fall. What connection is there between the narrator's parents and the rainforest woman and her husband? She makes this comment about both of those things, but I'm asking the clarifying question, what is similar about their situations? And then number 5, right? What is one example of an imbalance of power within the text? Copy and paste your quote and then write a sentence explaining who has the power in the quote, who does not have power, and what allows for someone or a group of people to be oppressed. Your answers should again follow that same quote integration format that we talked about before. If you click on the sample, it'll open that small window, and you want to make yours look like this, right? Like your words are the ones in red, quote, then the quote from the story, your citation, and then your explanation. Okay. That was everything that we did in class, right? This assignment is due before 3 p.m. on Saturday. If you have any questions, please attend student support from 2:45 to 3:15, and Miss Deal or I will be able to help you as much as we can. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in class soon.